All right, let's talk a little bit about how we design, produce, and effectively manage experiences. While Bernd Schmidt talks about things holistically and he does a great job of telling stories in his book, he is very analytical in terms of how he thinks this should happen. And so let's talk about the experiential audit for a moment. The experiential audit is based on the SEMs, that is, the strategic experiential modules. And so let's go through each of those in terms of what this audit looks like. And think about this in terms of our project for this semester. And what I'll use is an example of the Lee Business School graduation experience. So the experiential audit starts with each of the SEMs. So let's start where we ordinarily start with senses. So does the experience engage my senses? The way it looks, the way it sounds, the way it feels, the way it smells, the way it tastes. In our case, it's mostly look, sound, and feel. Is the experience perceptually interesting? Does the experience pique my interest? Does the experience look the way it is supposed to look? Or does the experience lack sensory appeal? If it looks the way it's supposed to look and sounds the way it's supposed to sound and feels the way it's supposed to feel, you are at least on the right track to creating the right experience. The second aspect, of course, is feel, moods, feelings, emotions. That is, does the experience put me in the right mood? Happy, relaxed. If you're going to a scary movie, maybe it's edgy, etc. Does the experience make me feel good, satisfied, happy, in the right feeling, emotional state to enjoy the experience? Does the experience elicit emotional responses from me? The experience should be exciting, or isn't it? Is the experience something that reminds me of something or not? Does the experience elicit enough feelings, enough moods, enough emotions that it creates memories? The thinking aspect of the audit. Does the experience intrigue me? Do I find myself thinking about the experience? Does the experience make me think critically or creatively? I wonder what if or why. Or, for instance, in terms of the graduation experience, it gets me going back and reminiscing about when my son or daughter or the person who I am watching graduate, when they were in high school or grade school, or when they started college, and I start thinking about the journey that they've been on for the past 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 years. And of course, that thinking helps me bring back memories, which makes the experience more emotional, but also gets me to be more involved and more immersed in the experience. Does the experience get me to interact? All right, that is it interactive? Is the experience physically engaging? Being physically involved in the experience is one way to make the experience interactive and immersive. Attending the experience is part of my lifestyle, something that I want to do. Attending the experience is meaningful for me. Am I going to stand up and cheer when my son or daughter graduates? Or am I simply going to sit there and beam like a proud parent? Is the experience immersing from an action standpoint? That is, does the act of doing something interact with the other aspects of the experience, the emotional aspects, the thinking aspects, and even the sensing aspects? And then finally, the relating aspect of the audit. Can I relate to the experience? Does it fit my personal brand? Do I support the experience? Do I tell other people about the experience? Am I proud that my son or daughter is a UNLV graduate? Do I think back of the experience and relate how they have changed and how they are now part of UNLV? As you know, I like to say, um, I am the university. By the way, the background on this particular slide is a picture of the riverboat that my father piloted for 25 years on the Illinois, Ohio, and Mississippi rivers. When anyone ever thought of the A.M. Thompson riverboat, they always thought of my father. He was part of that riverboat, and that riverboat was obviously part of him. When he passed away, on his tombstone, he's referred to as Captain John. The goal of the audit is to understand the current state of the experience. And it's important for us to think about that in terms of the current Lee Business School graduation.